This is a free podcast from the BBC. For more information, you can go to our website, bbc.co.uk/Radio 2.
Hey, here's you know where it's all happening these days, don't you?
Where? Romania?
China.
Oh, right.
I'm sure some of it's happening in Romania, but mainly it seems to be happening all in China.
Oh, yes.
This is this bold news. This is the sleeping giant is waking up.
Do you think
That's
so?
what this is, yeah, of course. You know, it's embracing capitalism. They're changing. They're becoming, in some ways, modern. I'm sure there are those who think that's a bad idea. But the best thing about it, I think, the very best thing is we're getting news stories from there.
Okay. It's
Which
nothing else.
We never used to get. There used to be a kind of ban
there was
that you never knew what was going on in China.
Ban.
Now it's a hotbed of fun and games.
Is it?
Well, two stories I've seen this week. One I'm going to read out, but the other one I saw a photograph, and we were going to use it on this week's talk show. We didn't get round to it in the end because it turned into a wrestling match, essentially. I know you didn't see it, but recently I wrestled with Ross Noble for a while.
Right.
The Lady Mary Queen of Shops came out. She didn't. I thought she might get me in a headlock. She didn't want to join in.
Yeah.
Gary Lineker came out, winded me, knocked me on the floor. Ross Noble came back out and joined in. At the end of the music, Gorillas, they all piled on. I went home covered in bruises.
What's brought
Covered
it
in
on?
bruises. Jane said, "What, have you been called upstairs by the bosses again?" I said, "No, it was on the show itself. It was the Gorillas." Bruised all over.
But what was the reasoning by Ross Noble and his outburst?
High spirits. You know what he's like. He's a greasy northerner. That's
Yeah,
what he
he
does
is.
for fun. He enjoys it. At the end of the day, likes nothing more than wrestling another man to the ground.
Perhaps he had a chat in the green room beforehand and they'd all set it up, ready.
He's like a less attractive Oliver Reed from Woman in Love. Anyway, so China.
Yes.
So
But what was the story?
We were going to use a story for Gary Lineker because, you know, Gary was, when we used to do They Think It's All Over Together, we always talked about his ears.
Yes.
It was very playground in that respect. And his ears are still magnificent. Magnificent, they are.
Yeah.
He looks like a bat. But we had a photograph of a young boy in China who fortunately was saved, who'd been playing out on the kind of fire escape area of this huge block of flats.
Yeah.
You know, with a grill, just the kind of bars there.
Yeah.
Slipped right through. You know what held him up? His ears saved him. And there's this incredible photograph taken from above, looking down. It must be about 15 stories high.
Right.
And he's hanging by his ears. Well, they're reaching around trying to hold him. They're going to saw him out and they're going to lift him up.
Yeah.
I bet he will never ever curse those ears again.
No.
And both of them caught perfectly.
What possesses people, though, to stand there and take the pictures? There's a poor child with his
if
ears.
he's hanging, you might as well. Look, either way...
Do you think there'd be a panic on to get him down?
I'm sure there were plenty
Let's
of people
take a few
taking
snaps.
care of the panic department, and there was one bloke with a camera.
There's always a bloke with a camera.
But he can't help, can he? He's got his camera around his neck. Anyway, so that's the one story.
Yes.
Which was a good one. But here's a cracker like this.
Okay.
A Chinese shopping centre has been condemned for staging a competition to see how quickly contestants, presumably some people in the shopping centre, how quickly they can unhook a woman's bra with one hand. And if you could manage 8 in under a minute, you win a shopping voucher.
Oh, dear.
That's my kind of competition, isn't it?
It's not bad.
That's my kind of... I bet you they do something similar down that big one, Blue Water in Kent. We watched some TV this week, ladies and gentlemen. I was watching a show and I asked Andy to watch it to join in because sometimes, because you're in France most of the time, you don't get to see quality British television.
No. I've still watched Coronation Street, of course, and that's quality.
Of a sort, exactly. But no, it's fine. It's a very popular show. It's a great show. There's no problem with that. But I wanted you to watch The Junior Apprentice.
Yes, and I did.
Because I saw the first episode. I watched it late. I watched it on iPlayer, which is a great thing.
Yes.
What a great show. Isn't it? And I remember a few years ago, Sir Alan, God bless him, popped round my house for lunch one day.
Do you have to call him Sir Alan? Because I do notice on the show there's a lot of Sir Alan going on.
No, it's all Lord Alan.
Lord Sugar.
Lord Sugar,
that's it. Lord Sugar.
Which I think goes nicely with Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
But Lord Sugar, he popped round to see me, and he's a lovely guy. I get on very well with that. But he asked me to call him Alan, which I'd rather call him Sir Alan.
Yeah, okay.
Regardless of whether he's Lord or Alan, Sir Alan sounds fun. And of course he parks that big, stupid Rolls Royce outside.
Black Rolls Royce.
So all the neighbours are wandering around. I'm like, who's in there? Of course you know who's in there. It's AMS1 outside. Giant, big, black hearse of a car. Parked out blocking the bloody road outside. And he comes in, has a look around, and we gave him a little bit of lunch. And he's, it's very nice. Had a look around.
He looks like Sid James, I think. More
a little bit. But in very good shape. But anyway, he came around about 3-4 years ago and he told me this idea for the show. And as always, I said, terrible idea.
Of course.
As I always do.
Is this for the normal Apprentice?
For this one, for this junior one.
Oh, right,
terrible idea. I'm very, very confident that I know a good idea from a bad idea.
Yeah.
I remember when I went on Shooting Stars years ago. I remember the Vic and Bob show, probably the biggest success they had.
Yeah, and you said
I went up with Danny Baker, the very first show. We went up to him after and said, don't do it. Boys, don't do it. Get out now while you can. It's going to ruin you. But the reason why I thought the Junior Apprentice might not work, and I'm sure many felt this way, is because, of course, one of the appeals of the grown-up apprentice is that he's very curt, he's very straightforward, but he's quite brusque with people.
Yes.
He's very, occasionally dismissive.
And I suppose the fear with younger people is you can't be like that.
You can't be that way with younger people or celebrities.
Right, okay.
And I know I've been on the receiving end, and it's not nice.
No.
And I've forgiven him for making the wrong choice.
Okay,
the comic relief
yes.
But the kids was what about? But you didn't see the first one, did you?
No, I didn't.
Because the first boy who he fired was this young guy from Ireland, and he was very sweet, and he wasn't really... He was the right choice to go. But I thought Lord Sugar handled it about as well as anyone could handle that. It was so nicely done.
Yes.
He did a little speech and said, just while all your friends, if you're worried about going back to school, what they're going to say to you, while they've been sitting there eating their crisp, and I think he said drinking their pop. I'm not sure. It did kind of date him. It might have been cola, while they're drinking their cola, he might have said.
Okay.
Kind of thing that only someone, who hasn't really been out a lot would say, drinking their fizzy pop. He said, just think, you got here.
Yes.
Like 18,000 people applied you. And it was a really lovely speech, mate.
Okay.
This week, I know.
And then he said, you're fired.
This week, he just went, you're fired. he obviously got that out of the way week one. Okay, they know that. But what did you think of the show? What did you think of
I
the
liked it. Well, I love the fact that there are 16 and 17-year-old blokes trying to wear their dad's suits.
You call them blokes, they're still boys, really.
But their suits don't fit. None of them look like they're just...
I what I love about it. At that age, you've got boys, and I have boys of that age come around the house, because my son is 16 on regular basis. Some of them still are little boys. Some of them suddenly are hairy men.
Yeah, one of them's hairy on there. He's 17, I think.
One of them's like a caveman in a suit with alarmingly red lips. I don't know what they're doing with the colour on that show. Well, it looks like he's been eating jam. Yeah. I think he's been eating jam a lot. I think he's been snacking on the jam for the... And the other guys all look like little boys.
They do. And the one that was the team leader this week, who the great story about the fact that he sells camping equipment, then couldn't put a tent up. Well, and said he'd been camping twice a year, and then admitted it was actually twice in 1 year. And he'd never been...
But at that age, your life's just beginning, so he may well go twice a year. It may well be his intention. He wasn't like, he said, how often do you go? Twice a year. Because last year he went twice. So as far as he's concerned, that's probably it from now. He probably will go twice.
Yeah.
But the finest moment, I think, for him on screen, and if you saw this, I'm sure you'll remember this fondly. If not, go on iPlayer and give it a watch, because it's a great show. When he said, so Lord Allen, I've built up my business. I put my life savings into my business.
He said,
he's 16 years old. He put his life savings in his business.
Jonathan Ross, online, on digital, and on 88 to 91 FM. BBC Radio 2.
We were about to discuss...
You were talking about bacon.
Crucially, bacon, which I think is on many people's mind this time of the weekend. Because bacon is... oddly irresistible to a lot of people.
Yes.
I enjoy bacon, but I can kind of take it or leave it.
What is it that you like? It's the taste of what? Is it the saltiness?
I think it's the smell and the sort of... I mean, it's not good for you, of course, but people go back for more and more. Here's the thing. They did a study recently with rats, because poor old rats, they always get dragged into this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they had some in one compartment and some in another, and they would give them a little snack food in the form of a little protein cube over there, which they enjoyed, had a nice flavouring, or the other rats in this test... a little bit of bacon.
Okay.
And they'd go up and they'd use their little paw, press the button, out would come a little dollop of whatever it was. They'd like it.
Okay.
The other ones, press the button, out would come a little bit of bacon. Now, this is when they wanted to test the irresistible power of bacon.
Yeah.
They then wired it up, so every time they touched the button for a snack, they got an electric shock.
Oh, dear.
Now, the ones on the non-bacon side touched it once. Oh! Not so crazy about that. I'll leave the snack. The bacon one kept coming back time and time again. Could not resist the bacon. Kept coming back. Shock after shock after shock. They're sitting there, their hair's going blue, it's falling out, their eyes are crossed, they're still coming back for the bacon.
Oh, dear.
No.
Poor things.
Oh, well, they can't resist it.
No.
Many people can't. My wife, who is essentially, to all extents and purposes, a vegetarian, still likes a bit of bacon.
Right.
She still
Is
can't
it the
resist
sandwich, the bacon
it's
sandwich?
The smell of it, a bacon sandwich with brown sauce.
I was going to say brown or ketchup. Some people, you can go one way or the other.
No, it's got to be brown.
Is it?
Fool.
Not.
You idiot.
No, you see
Don't
people on...
Don't make people
I've seen
know
builders on building sites.
Hide your idiocy. Don't
And
even
they have
talk about
ketchup.
ketchup with the thing. Ketchup, yeah, but what do they know? That's because there's no brown available, probably, because the smart people got in early, and the rats... So, listen, they've created... This is why I'm discussing bacon.
We're going on with this life form.
Because they've created a new life form. Scientists have found it. It's taken them, I believe, 20 years, $40 million or $1 billion or something absurd like that. They've now created, from scratch, a life form.
And how did they do it? I've not really understood.
They did it in a pressure cooker with some seeds. I don't know how they did. How would I know?
What do they do? They take
I just
DNA.
told you, brilliant scientists took 20 years of their life to do it.
You must have read a bit more. I didn't read it. It frightened me.
I can't sum it up for a fool who thinks tomato ketchup goes with bacon
I don't
in
have
30
bacon,
seconds on a radio show. If you were having bacon. Do you have bacon, by the way? Have you
No,
had
I've not had bacon, no.
So my daughter, who's the full-on bacon...
I told you, it's hot dog, sausage or nothing for me.
I know all about that. So... They've come up with this new life form, and of course, some religious leaders come and say you shouldn't do that.
Well, I can understand that.
Well, my message to them is, keep out of it.
Just after 20 years.
I don't come round to telling you to stop worshipping people who I don't believe in, so stop telling me to not, have a bit of science in my life.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
Good luck to him.
But I can understand the fear. It frightened me. You worry.
If it was
You've
an
seen
actual-
movies, haven't you? You're worried there's going to be some sort of
Well, if it
weird
was
alien coming
if it
round.
was an alien flopping around in the room, sure.
Imagine if
it
it's like a Terminator turning up.
If it was something with arms and teeth and eyes, yeah, sure, but it's a tiny bit of bacteria.
Yeah, but the theory now is they could grow it into some big bit of bacteria. And then
bacterium, I guess, will be the singular. So they've got the bacterium,
Yes.
if we're correct now, I don't know, or bacteria thing. They've got it on a petri dish somewhere, and now they're saying this is what they want to do with it, you see, is make something useful for all mankind.
Right.
It's a noble dream.
Okay.
They want to make something that maybe, for example, gobbles up the bad things in the air and creates fresh oxygen.
Right, okay.
You could do that, you see. What if they put it in the sea and it was something which helped restore the plankton?
What about curing major illnesses? Could
Of
it do
course,
that?
this could do this.
Oh, no, I'm coming around to it now.
You see what they're doing.
Yeah.
Now, here's my plan. If you're going to do it,
Yeah.
try and make it look cute as well. Try and make it look like for example,
With a little...
well, like a hummingbird,
Yeah.
but with Kylie's face on it. Can you imagine that? If you can do these things, why not? And then, let's make it smell of bacon. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, how much better would the planet be
With a little
if
hummingbird
everywhere,
with
when you
Kylie's
open your
face.
door, there's a hummingbird, looks like Kylie, says, morning, and it smells of bacon.
Yeah.
I cannot think
And
of
wearing
it.
hot pants.
If you could get it to play the accordion as well, it would be just about the most perfect planet in the whole of the universe.
Yes.
You mustn't eat them, though.
No.
You mustn't eat the Kylie bird.
No. Is that what it's going to be known as?
Henceforth, it shall be known as the disease-curing Kylie bird.
You're listening to the Jonathan Ross Podcast from BBC Radio 2.
James!
Vampire
James
Weekend.
Nesbitt's with us, ladies and gentlemen. Is that a good Irish accent? Is that a good Northern Irish accent I'm doing there?
It's good if you haven't spent any time in Northern Ireland ever.
Jamie, that's pretty good.
It's like a
Come
Northern
on.
Irish guy who went on his holidays a lot.
Jamie!
Yeah.
I think that's not too bad.
It's all right.
Okay, thank you. I can only do your name. I can't do an actual sentence.
Yeah.
How are you, James? You look very, very well.
No, I'm good.
Doesn't James look well?
He does look well, yes.
No, I'm good. You're talking about what you should introduce me as. You should actually call me Chancellor James Nesbitt.
Chancellor James
Chancellor of the University of Ulster.
Oh, yeah.
No, really?
Have they met me? Isn't it incredible?
What an honour, what I imagine.
It's amazing.
Yes.
No, I've got my installation on the 8th of June.
Do you get a robe? Do you get a sort of
I
fancy
get a
wig
robe,
or a hat?
I
Or...
get the mortar board. I get boards.
What do you get for that? Do you allowed to just wander around, do stuff?
First pick of any of the new students.
Exactly.
Did you go to university? Please don't take that the wrong way.
No, I started actually at the University of Ulster, then I packed it in. But then they gave me an honorary doctorate a few years ago, and now they've given me the chancellorship.
So will you now have letters after your name for that?
Yeah, well, I'm now Chancellor Dr. James Nesbitt.
You sound like someone out of Sherlock Holmes.
I know, it's ridiculous, isn't it?
That's pretty good, though.
But it's good. No, I'm thrilled and my family are happy, and it's a good thing.
It's a lovely photo opportunity for you.
Yeah, because you look great in those robes. Yeah. The honorary doctorate, I just looked as if I was in a bad panto.
But I you know what? I'm proud for you. I feel a sense because let's face it, none of us ever thought you'd amount to much.
No, I
and
know.
Here you are now, Chancellor of Ulster University.
That's right.
What a thing! Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's good to see you, Jimmy. I love seeing you on TV. I like seeing you. You're, I think, a tremendously gifted actor.
Oh, thanks very
and
much.
you've worked at it as well. It's not just I'm not just saying that it's not an underhand compliment. But you're.
Although it sounds like it.
Well, you know what I'm saying. But it's weird.
No.
It's one of those weird things. You don't want to say to people,
Well,
"You've really studied your craft." 'Cause it sounds a little bit like.
No, I think you
workmanlike.
learn. I think you learn more. The more you do, the more you learn. I mean, Michael Winterbottom used to do a lot of films with him, and he always says your next film is your first film, which I think is a good way to look at
What
it.
does that mean exactly? You think?
Well, that you approach it as if you have
Never done it before.
Yeah, in a sense, which is what acting, I suppose, a lot of the time is about. I mean, it's like saying lines as if you're saying them for the first time.
Reinvent yourself.
Yeah, indeed.
Do it all over. What's your favourite of the many movies you've been involved in, the many TV things? What's the one which you think is A, the one you most enjoy watching, and B, if I may, the one that you're proudest of the work
There's a
you've done?
few.
With
I
it?
mean, I loved Bloody Sunday.
That was a tremendous. Did you see that?
I didn't see that, no.
It's a great drama.
And I did one. I did a thing about the Iraq War last year called Occupation, which went well. And
I saw that,
for
yes.
5 minutes of heaven.
I saw a few minutes of that.
Yeah. And but there are all sorts of things. I mean, there was different. I thought some of Cold Feet was good.
You prefer drama or comedy?
Well, what is the difference? Comedy is drama. I mean, I like just the work. I'm not really genre led. I'm kind of money led. No, I whatever comes up. I mean, comedy, I think it's hard to get very good comedy writing. And
Jamie, what was that thing? What was that thing you were in where you were the undercover cop? What was that called again?
Murphy's Law.
That was terrific. That was a tremendous series. Well,
No, I
did
like
you do
that.
two?
We did a few of that. We sort of reinvented it kind of halfway through and made it a wee bit grittier, I suppose. No, I loved that. And we were keen to do that again, but I think it was an expensive show. But I loved that, actually.
I like that because it had the feel and the look and the quality of, we often think of the best American drama.
Well, we took a lot of, we had a look at, we looked at CSI, we looked at Wire, we looked at all those things and tried to incorporate some of it.
From one extreme to another, this week James will be hosting the movie awards on ITV.
National Movie Awards.
This will be a great night out, I imagine.
Well, I think so. I mean, it's different from like the usual awards, like the BAFTAs or whatever.
Yeah,
I mean,
I know what you're saying.
yeah,
a bit dreary.
well, it's just that these awards are voted for by the public. So I mean, often the blockbusters are ignored, but these are the ones that actually most people
want to go to see.
Exactly, and
that was the problem with RC BAFTAs, even though they were admirable movies. The Hurt Locker.
No, I was there. I thought you did a good job.
Well,
but I mean, the crowd is a wee bit self-aware.
I felt a bit like I was swimming through treacle, and I think I did a competent job.
No, you did well, but it's just they're so self-absorbed.
It was
really,
a little. It was always going to be a serious year because of those movies. You have Precious, you have the Hurt Locker,
Absolutely.
and then there was a weird, odd tension in the room as well. The fact that you had Catherine Bigelow and then James Cameron, who are married on the other side. But of course, this is it's basically the fun movies, the blockbuster.
No, absolutely, and but they've got like fantastic sort of categories, like most anticipated film of the year.
Wow, well that's always an exciting category because anyone could win that.
But you're coming on, and I'm
going to be down there.
Your missus is involved.
Yeah, well, okay, well, let's deal with those separately. But first of all, let's talk about some of the different categories. You mentioned one which does sound most anticipated. It sounds peculiar, and that's, I guess, the blockbuster that everyone knows is coming. Maybe a sequel or something.
Yeah,
but we haven't seen yet.
No, that's right. Yeah, yes, it's a few of those. I mean, I think Toy Story's in that, isn't it?
Toy Story 3?
I can imagine, yeah,
which is the 3D one, isn't it?
How much are you looking forward to that?
Oh, that'd be fabulous.
Well, I hope the 3D works. Because I mean, where are you on 3D?
I love 3D.
I loved it in Alice in Wonderland. I wasn't expecting to like that. I didn't love it in How to Train Your Dragon.
Really?
Yeah, but I loved it in Alice in Wonderland, and I think...
Why did you not like it in the Dragon movie, then?
I don't know. I don't think it... I think it took
much.
me away from the sort of the human story of it. Whereas with Alice in Wonderland, I thought it was fantastic, and it really drew you in.
Here's the thing about 3D. How long have we got? Here's the thing about 3D is it was a big hit in the 50s. Everyone says it was a gimmick, and it did catch it. The problem was back then there were so many different gimmicks coming out, and cinemas trying different things that unless the cinemas equipped themselves properly, you didn't get the proper experience.
Right. Okay.
So a lot of cinemas showed 3D movies, and they looked murky and uninteresting because they were showing them with the wrong equipment. Otherwise, it would have been a huge hit. No. That's why I'm sure it will be with us now for as long as we have movies. It's here to stay. Let's we'll be a little bit less worthy and a bit more interesting after the news because that was, let's face it, I was talking about 3D got a bit dull then, James.
It did.
I'll be honest with you.
Radio 2.
Are you a fan of the Sex and the City experience?
Absolutely not. At all.
You know why? Because he's a football man.
What?
There's the two types of men. There's the football man and there's the Sex and the City
I'm on James's side.
I cannot abide it to tell you. So
don't worry, girls. I'm here. I'm holding up the end for us.
I love it. I mean, I absolutely love the fact that it gives me an opportunity to not be in the room. I mean, it's like, no, darling, you sit down, you watch that. I'll just go out.
And I thought to myself, is this why men are so difficult to live with? That's the sort of storyline you'd inspire.
It's like, to me, it's like Bad Mills and Boone.
If Irish men are like shoes, why is James Nesbitt so difficult to get on?
No, I'd much rather have the football. Why I'm saying football, check out Dulwich Ukulele Club online. My friends at the Dulwich Ukulele Band. And they've done a World Cup song.
Well, we should let's dig that out and play that. We're looking for something new.
World Cup song on the ukulele.
Fiona out there, who is a big Sex and the City fan, despite your slight, is now looking for the Dulwich Ukulele site.
Dulwich Ukulele Club.
And we'll see whether we can play
fantastic.
that. So you're not... let's not mention that to Sarah when she comes in. Let's not say.
No, because I wouldn't fancy a right hook from Sarah.
Nice to meet you. No, yeah, she's. I imagine she's quite kind of wiry.
So it's an incredibly exciting night, and you're going to be there.
I'm going to be introducing. This is they asked me if I'd turn up for it, and they asked me if I would introduce a special preview, and this is why I'm going. It's obviously to see you.
Well, clearly,
but a special preview.
See how it's done.
It's quite a long preview in 3D of Toy Story 3, which and I love the Toy Story movies.
Which is going to be interesting at home, to tell you the truth. But
well, not as interesting, of course. I'm hoping they will show the audience. I'm thinking that's going to look.
No,
good.
that's the thing. Yeah, you're going to tell them to put the glasses on.
I've got my joke ready. Don't worry, I'm not going to spoil it. That's why I said yes. I thought of a joke. I thought, there you go, I've got a joke, I might as well go. I better write that down quickly. Don't forget it.
No,
I bet I'll mangle it.
But amazing, I think, really, and different from the others.
Well, let me go through some of the categories and ask you about some of your favourites. Can we do that, James?
Yeah.
Those you've seen, I know you won't have seen all of them because, of course, let's go. First up, you mentioned my wife because, of course, she's been involved this year with the film Kick-Ass. And that's in the action thriller movie nominees. There's also Inglourious, Thingamajigs. 2012, Shutter Island and Sherlock Holmes. Now, which of those have you seen? Which of those have you not seen?
Well, I
James
think what
Nesbitt?
will win is, and it's not favouritism, I think Kick-Ass should win. It's fantastic. Sherlock, I only saw a bit of.
I think it will be between those two.
Right,
frankly,
yeah.
because they're the two.
Well, it's the audience voting. I mean, I cannot in any way
can't
see.
predict.
I cannot see though how your missus won't be up there.
Well, 2012 was terrible.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Shutter
I was
Island
waiting. I'm waiting a couple of years to see that. Shutter Island, no, I didn't see. Is that the DiCaprio one?
That's DiCaprio with Scorsese. It looked great, but it
Yeah,
was
apparently,
lacking any kind of, didn't
substance.
really carry you along.
No.
Okay, family movies. You've got A Christmas Carol. Did you see that one?
Not as
That
such.
was 3D. That was good. Alvin and the Chipmunks 2.
Loved it.
I loved it too.
I absolutely loved it.
Let's see if we got any chipmunks on the jukebox as
Oh,
well.
I loved them. I went with my daughter Mary, and I totally, completely loved it.
I thought it rocked. It
Yeah.
was, of course, Alvin and the Chipmunks, the squeakquel.
Yeah.
Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince.
Yeah, very good.
Loved that as well. All the, and I'm really looking forward to it. I'm hoping in the most anticipated that Harry Potter will be in that
Absolutely,
as well.
yeah. I would have thought so.
Nanny McPhee and the Big Bang.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen that yet, but I loved the first one, and my kids loved that.
Not an
And I've
adult
just
movie,
been-
despite the title.
No, I've just been working with Ralph Fiennes, funny enough, in Shakespeare, Coriolanus.
And he was very
Oh,
good.
they
Yeah,
are.
the small but telling part. And then, of course, Up.
Up, yeah,
I
well.
think Up has to win that, really.
Do you think? Yeah.
Oh, come on. One of the greatest movies
Right,
ever
okay.
made.
Yeah, maybe. I suppose it will, actually.
You saw Up,
Yeah,
did you?
No.
Well, then
No,
here
I'm
we
watching
go.
it all.
I think if it's down to audience, it won't be Up. I think
I'm watching
I'm
all
going
the
out
ones
with the
this
I'm
weekend.
going out with the Chipmunks.
That's because you look like one.
No, I think Up. I think from what I can gather, I'm watching Up this weekend. I hear it's incredible.
Up is incredible. You will love it.
Did you weep?
Of course I wept.
Yeah, yeah.
I wept like a child.
Yeah.
Family movie nominees. We just we had we've done this fantasy movie. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Alice in Wonderland. We know you love
I
that.
thought it was magnificent.
Now here's the thing: when that came out, that got pretty mediocre reviews. I raved about it.
I
It got
didn't understand it, and I was not really necessarily looking forward to seeing it. And I took Mary, Peggy didn't fancy it, and we loved it.
I adored
just
it.
thought it was
And what a
magnificent.
performance from Johnny Depp.
Yeah, brilliant.
I think one of the best of his career.
Yeah.
Avatar.
Didn't like.
Didn't like it. Hold on.
I watched it, to be fair, though.
No, I'm sorry. I don't think I heard you correctly. Avatar?
I watched it over the shoulder of someone in a plane. And,
Well, how can you see a movie like that on a tiny screen?
That is the truth.
And knowing you,
Of
it
course
was
you
probably
watched it on the big
Ryanair.
screens. No, I did not. It was when I was doing a UNICEF trip, so I turned right on the movie.
Never
as
mind,
opposed
it was
to left.
charity work. Never mind that.
So I watched it
Over the shoulder.
I watched it over a shoulder. I kept being distracted
You
by
can't
it.
watch it over a shoulder.
Did you then love it? But
I
you
loved
love
it.
all that stuff. I
Don't mean all that stuff dismissively. I do love all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so after Clash of the Titans.
haven't seen that, but I know Rafe and Liam very well. But I hear
It wasn't
challenging.
Cue a slight flushing sound in the background. That was no good. That was no good. There were some nice people in it and some good, okay
I heard,
performances, but just
yeah.
not what you mean. The Twilight Saga, New Moon. Did you like the Twilight films?
No, but Peggy, my daughter, is.
How old is Peggy?
12.
Well, of course she loves them.
I mean,
of course she loves them.
You can't get into the room.
It's almost a religion, isn't it? I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. The only problem I had is because there's a young guy called Taylor. He takes his shirt off at one stage.
Yeah.
I thought I was looking in the mirror, and I
Yeah, that
know I
must be
hadn't filmed it.
unsettling.
I know I hadn't made it.
Yeah,
but when the
you
packs
were
came
worried,
out,
did I do that?
what am I doing up there? That was a bit of a Dick Van Dyke moment for me. Who apparently, when he went to see Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, had no memory of ever filming it. This was due to the amount of gin he liked consuming back then. Had no memory. So I thought, blimey, he's good. Who's that fella? Oh, it's me.
You're listening to the Jonathan Ross Podcast from BBC Radio 2.
James Nesbitt's with us, ladies and gentlemen. He's a terrific actor, as I'm sure you know. He's a very lovely man. He's also hosting the National Movie Awards this week, Wednesday night, May 26th on ITV at 8 p.m. Nervous at all? Do you get at all nervous before?
Well, I've done a few of those now. I do the Independent Film
Yeah.
Awards, but this will be nerve-wracking because it's live.
It's televised,
but
a big
it's
crowd.
televised. And also, I don't have... The thing is, they're certainly not coming to see me, and I don't have that much to do. I'm kind of a link man.
But that's a
very much.
nice position to be in, I would have
No,
thought.
no, and it's, it's a different from the day job. So
Where is it on? I suppose I should know that. I'm meant
Royal
to be there.
Festival Hall. I
Royal
believe.
Festival Hall
Yeah.
down in London.
Make sure you know
can
where
get the
you're going.
36 there.
Royal Festival Hall. I'm making out that.
Yeah.
I'm going now.
What time you got to get
what
there?
Time you
Get
need me there?
What time can you make?
So there'll be
Like that,
clips galore. I mean, there'll obviously be packages for all these different categories, and that's always fun to see the clips.
No, the clips are brilliant at this as well. They're not kind of like they're like huge, big things, and then the Tom Cruise package is incredible.
Well, Tom, of course, he'll be there. Will he be introducing his own package, so to speak?
No, I think that might be Gwyneth. I'm not sure.
Little Gwynny Paltrow.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun. Is there an after-show party?
I think there is. I did it 2 years ago when it was at
seriously,
Claridge's.
The invite for that isn't here. They could come on, do
I
your
know,
bit,
that
and
is
then
strange.
it's a
Maybe it's
car
not-
waiting for me to take me home. Phil.
No, I'm sure. Listen, it'll be great. Oh, because also Chris Noth, is that his name?
Chris Noth,
Mr. Big.
from your favourite series. I'm going to tell him you hate it.
No, I told him he was there 2 years ago. He loved it. He's coming back.
Of course he is.
Yeah, loves a jolly.
Yeah, because he's not what you call A-list. He can't believe his luck you invited back. He's a lovely guy, great actor, but, you know. OK, so I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be fun Wednesday night. That's our Wednesday night suited. I hope you'll watch as well at home. But the acting, of course, is what you do. That's what you do. That's your bread and butter.
Yeah.
And that's what you get most satisfaction from.
No, of course. Yeah.
What are you working on next? What are you working on now?
I've a few films coming out. I did one in Australia called Matching Jack. I did a horror film coming out called Outcast.
Okay, so first of all, let's do that. Matching Jack, what's that about?
It's about it's an Australian filmmaker called David Parker and his partner Nadia Tass. They did films like Malcolm. Do you remember Malcolm?
Vaguely, I remember.
Yeah, really cool, sort of funny film. Anyway, it's about. It sounds a bit depressing, possibly because it is. It's about two parents who meet with sick children, but it's about finding bone marrow. But
hold on. Depressing Australian film. Let's move on to the next one, because that ain't going to figure at next year's National Movie Awards.
Outcast is a horror film I did.
Outcast with a K or with a C?
Outcast with a K.
Yeah, I thought they'd go funky.
Yeah, and that's very clever. But it's very good, I think, and has been performing at festivals as well. It's opening, or it's not opening, but it's at the Edinburgh Film Festival.
And give us a broad idea of the kind of horror film it is. Psychological horror, alien horror, body horror?
It's kind of a mixture. It's about an ancient... I play this guy who has... fathered a child 18 years previously with a woman who belongs to an ancient Celtic tribe with mystical powers.
Well, you don't look old enough. B, clearly. B, you had me at ancient. As soon as there was something to do with an ancient cult,
but it's brilliant. But there's a beast that lurks within, and they have mystical powers. You're going to love it.
Good special effects.
Yeah, but it's also very psychological, and it's these kids, these Glasgow really tough, gritty kids.
Well,
it
sounds good. So Outcast, that sounds
That's
great.
good.
That
And
sounds
I've got coming out. I have another film coming out. What was that?
It's a one-man
film.
film
I did a film called The Way with Emilio Estevez wrote and directed for his father Martin Sheen, and I'm in it. And it's about four people who meet on the Camino de Santiago, which is the ancient pilgrimage of St. James, which starts in French Pyrenees, and it goes 800 kilometres along northern Spain, and it's
The Way, and that journey's called The Way.
And
this was you're acting with Martin Sheen.
Yeah, doing loads with him. He was fantastic.
He's a man who I think he's both once again a brilliant screen presence, but also what an inspirational human being.
Oh man, he was great, but funny. I mean, and just the nicest, most decent, down to earth. I mean, we'd lost hours every day because he would be talking to everyone, and everyone thinks he's the president. He's played the president 5 times, and they think he's the president.
Everyone wants him to be the president. Yeah, why is he not the president?
Exactly.
Why is he not
that was good. And then I've just done Coriolanus with Rafe Fiennes.
Well, never mind that.
Yeah.
So, oh God, blimey! I remember sitting through Coriolanus once for school.
It's a cracking play.
Oh, well, come on, it's an ask.
The film, it's an ask. No, the film, because we've compacted it a fair amount.
I hope so. It's about 5 hours long. Been running around holding on heads and moaning about stuff and refusing to compromise.
Yeah, that's more or less it.
But come on, Coriolanus, budge an inch, will you? That's all you need to say. That's the movie over there.
But it was written by,
be realistic.
Our screenplay was done by John Logan, who did. You would know him. I think he might have done Avatar, did he? Oh, no,
I don't know, but I'll pretend I know him.
Yeah.
But what a busy time for you. But then this is stuff you've already done.
Yeah, I've done that. I'm about
Coriolanus
to do...
is on stage, or it's a movie?
No, that's a film. Set now in Belgrade. Jerry Butler.
Modern day Coriolanus.
Jerry Butler, Vanessa Redgrave. And that was great. And now I'm taking the summer off, although I'm also doing this. I'm involved in Soccer Aid, this thing that...
Well, you've got your UNICEF button on as well. So obviously, are you a UNICEF? Are you an emissary for them?
I'm an ambassador, yeah. And they're about to have this thing, Soccer Aid, on June the 6th up in Old Trafford, where the rest of the world team plays England, and it's got footballers like Zinedine Zidane and Ryan Giggs, but also people like Gordon Ramsay and...
So some lovely big-name football fans.
To raise much-needed money for the work that they do. I've just come back from Guinea in West Africa. I was doing a thing about malaria there, which is this terrible, the biggest killer out there. And every 30 seconds a child dies of malaria, and £5 buys a malaria net.
Which is a lovely message, if a little bit downbeat on a Saturday morning. But you're right. No. I mean, common belief obviously is the malaria is a big issue these days.
It's just extraordinary.
But that, in a way, this Old Trafford, this thing unites two of your loves, of course, because football, I know you're very involved with UNICEF as well, so there's something you care about deeply, and of course football and Manchester United being your team.
I'm a big United fan. I unfortunately can't go because there's a bad clash that night with the TV BAFTAs.
I'm struck by your love of football because I know and this is something which has eluded me, and I do feel a poor man because of it. Because I know
the World Cup's coming up. In the city.
The World Cup's coming up. You've got to get a little bit.
I will watch some of the World Cup and I will get behind it. But you know what I mean? Here's my problem with football, and I was discussing this with Gary Lineker just this week, is that if you're not hugely committed to that team, 7 out of 10 football matches are a little dull. unless
I
you really
understand
care
that.
about them. So it's not like you watch it for
no,
the beauty
so
of the
much of
game
it is
itself.
about your passion for it, is your marriage
You
with the
have
team.
to be really.
No,
You just got to
absolutely.
invest a lot of yourself into it
Yeah.
to really love that.
No, I
result.
think that's very true. I mean, if you weren't in it, you wouldn't sit down to watch it like you would watch a film, you know.
Whereas Sex and the City,
Oh,
as
come
soon as
on.
you start
Back to that
watching it,
again.
you got to get on board.
It's
Okay.
just the same episode every week.
Yeah, that's what we like. Well, like football isn't more or less the same every week.
Oh no, there's nuances and subtleties.
Well, so mote it be
No.
with Sex and the City, you fool.
No, it's either it's always the same. I can't bear it. I grew up with 3 older sisters. I don't need to watch Sex and the City.
Jonathan Ross, online, on digital, and on 88 to 91 FM. BBC Radio 2.
Okay, you know what I'd like to see James Nesbitt play?
Yep.
A flawed but brilliant neurosurgeon.
Oh, well, funny you should mention that.
What? See something on the
I know,
cards?
isn't that strange? No, actually, the guy that wrote Occupation, which you watched 2 minutes of, BAFTA nominated.
5 minutes.
Oh, yeah. Pete Bowker, who's a brilliant writer, he also wrote Blackpool and all sorts of things.
Oh, Blackpool's great. Yeah.
Anyway, he has created this character. He's a neurosurgeon. Pete has had experience of the amazing work they do through, I think, a family member, and he's created this character, and we do 6 1-hours starting in September.
Wow, and we all love a medical drama. Are you a fan of House?
I love it. Yeah.
You've got to love House. Although House, once again, talking about Sex
Same,
and the City,
yeah.
that's essentially the same episode.
The same,
just a
yeah,
different
but it is
weird
great.
ailment.
Well, I think, and also it's something that they're always chasing to get right here, medical dramas. I mean, for some reason, they're big things. And what I love about this, hopefully, is that Bowker is a very intelligent writer. He's got quite an original voice, but also, I mean, hopefully, a lot of people will see it.
So have you prepared for this role yet? Have you been to see
No,
neurosurgeons at work?
but I will be. I'll be doing it as I'm not working now for a few months, so I can get stuck in.
So will you go? You'll be allowed to go in and see...
Well, I hope so, yeah. And I've met, I already know people to kind of go and talk to, because, you know I think what is fascinating about it, for some reason, heart surgeons have always got the glory. But, essentially, as Monroe, this character, would say, the heart's at the end of the day just a pump, whereas the brain holds
That's
your
where
very...
consciousness perhaps
Exactly.
resides. That's where the great mystery is.
Yeah, indeed. So,
Do you go in through... When they do neuro brain surgery, do they go in through the ear or the nose? I'm never quite sure. Which way do they go in?
Well, they go they go through there now, don't they?
You could go in through the ear or the nose. You don't have to go through the top.
No, you
Why
could.
make a new hole when we've got so many on
No,
our
I
face
know.
already? That's what I'm saying.
Oh, but they can.
Could
but
that not
also,
be an
but you know
episode?
when they do it now, when they do it, they keep the patients.
I know, they keep
them
awake.
so that they can know, because then they're jabbing little bits, and then they can know if they're going too far, because they start to get they just get a bit woozy and they kind of forget the names of things.
If I could, I'd be knocked out during dentistry. Never mind brain surgery.
Yeah, if I'd been knocked out during life, if I could, a lot of the time.
Well, you did spend a few years in that. I've seen you and John
kettle,
Thompson together. There we go. Jamie Nesbitt is with us, ladies and gentlemen. Not for much longer. He's got to go off and get ready for the National Movie Awards. It's Wednesday night ITV at 8 p.m. 2 hours of live television with some great guests as well. And you'll be hanging out afterwards, no doubt.
I look forward to it. Yeah. If I get to.
Do you? And this is maybe is
Careful.
Do you network?
No, not really. Well, I suppose.
Do you speak to people and think, well, there must be some part of you who think, well, that might be useful. Knowing that person
Yeah,
might
but
be
the people
useful.
that hang around afterwards aren't the sort of people you network with. It's just people. It's all people looking for someone to network. Yeah. Like, oh no, you're no good. No,
Networkees rather than networkers, if that works.
Yeah.
It's great seeing you again.
You too,
I'm
John.
looking forward to seeing you on Wednesday night. I'm going to be there as well, and I'm very much looking forward to Monroe. I know you haven't even filmed it yet, but it does sound right up my street. I love that kind of thing.
No, I hope so.
You can't beat a good, intelligent drama
I hope so.
about neurosurgery.
Indeed.
Mr. James Nesbitt, ladies and gentlemen.
This is a free podcast from the BBC. For more information, you can go to our website, bbc.co.uk/radio2.